What's happening, everybody, and welcome to Speekygeeky. I, as always, am your host, Mr. Geek-E. I'm very excited because our guest on today's show is brand manager on a series near and dear to my heart, and if you're watching this, we're guessing one of your favorites as well. Please welcome to the show, NECA's TMNT brand manager, Trevor Zammit. Welcome back.
I'm back. Here I am. Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Here's the deal. I've got a ton of stuff that I want to talk to you about today, but let's, I guess, start with some of the recent reveals here. Okay. We finally got to see a prototype of Kino and the scooter. So that's pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's a figure that I've wanted to do for pretty much since we started going like crazy with like the movie figures. Like Kino was always one that I was hoping for. And of course, like we're going to do a Kino figure, like include the scooter. Like that would be so cool. We've had meetings with like Ernie, and he's seen the test shot. I had a meeting with him like a month or two ago, and he's been involved with the process like every step of the way pretty much from the beginning. So he sees the sculpt and the paint master and all the development, you know, as it's happening. And he's been like super cool to work with. Ernie's awesome, and it's great. Like we finally have a Kino figure joining the Turtles, and you know, to fight the Foot Clan and everything. So it's super cool.
So this will be probably like a deluxe figure, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a deluxe. It's actually I just saw samples of the box this morning. It is like it's like the 2-pack size, but it's like Kino, the scooter's next to him, so it takes up the same amount of space as like just a normal 2-pack. So yeah.
Will there be a lot of accessories that come with in addition to the scooter?
Yeah, he's got a good set of accessories. He's like a couple extra hands. There's another head, so he has a few different expressions. There's the delivery bag, like that thermal insulated like pizza delivery bag, which that fits in the back of the box on the scooter. It has a flap that opens up, and there's actually like a little cardboard pizza box that like comes out. So it's like a nesting doll thing. You open the pizza box, you take out the thermal bag, you open that, and there's like a pizza that slides out. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Do we have a timeline yet as to when that will be?
It'll be next year. We don't know exactly when just yet, but yeah, it'll be sometime next year. So everything's still in like pre-production stages, you know.
Another one that we just saw recently was the not from the movie side of things, but from I guess kind of movie was the Universal Monsters Invisible Donnie. We finally got to see that awesome animation that came out with that, and looking pretty sweet.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Donnie's real cool. That's one of my favorites. I love that movie, the original Invisible Man Universal movie. That's one of my favorite of the old classic monster films. So I'm glad that we got to mash those two characters up. He's a cool figure. He's got the trench coat. He's got like this, one of the heads is like completely hollow inside, so you can like see through the mouth and see through the eye holes. It's just all bandages, and there's nothing inside there. It's just like this hollow turtle head.
Nice.
He's got a microscope, which is a cool accessory just for like any Donnie figure, like just to have more lab equipment, you know, to sort of like fill out, you know, like a little sewer diorama or something. So yeah, he's cool. He's got tons of hands. He's got interchangeable. There's like gloved hands, and then there's like regular turtle hands that are injected in clear. So he's got his like invisible parts.
And that's what I was going to ask you too about the with the hollow head. On the earlier shots, it looked like there was like a seam in the bandaging. Is it like the original where you could take off the bandaging, or is it fully affixed?
No, it's fixed. One of the heads has like crazy little bits of hair, like in the original movie. He's got the wig that's like sticking out through the bandages. So like one of them is like real frazzled and crazy looking, where it's like that's the solid head, and there's removable goggles that go on that one. The other head, it's not like you can't like unwind or unwrap it or anything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can like see right through it. So
very cool. I think last time we talked, you said there was like 8 sculpted figures from the Universal Monsters. Going off of fan excitement, right? You know, we'll see how people flock to it. And the thing is like this is really good reception. Everywhere I'm hearing is, you know, and also my own experience with it is that they're great figures. So has that number swelled a little bit from the last time we talked?
There are more figures now than I think from last time we had spoken. Yeah. So yeah, the line is continuing. Everyone at work, like we're all still excited about these things, and we want to make more, and yeah, we're working. There's a few more figures that we've got in the works right now, so that line is continuing.
And I mean, you were saying too that with this line, there's a lot more ability for creative freedom here, where it's kind of just like wherever. Can it be pretty expansive in terms of the scope of characters that we could be seeing here, or is there a cutoff for what you're allowing into this line?
No, I don't like to do cutoffs on stuff, because it's, especially on a line like this where there is so much creative freedom and you can sort of really kind of test the limits of what's possible. Like, it's too much fun to just be like, well, we did those, we're done with it, just move on to something else. So yeah, there's a couple of them that we're working on right now. I do think they're not like super crazy, I don't think, but they're definitely cool and maybe slightly unusual, and so we'll see how those do, and if those are good, maybe we'll do a couple crazier, weirder or something. I don't think there really needs to be any limitations, really.
Yeah, so there isn't, the characters don't need to, even though they're quasi based off of the Henson feel from the from the movies, they don't need to have been in a movie to necessarily be in this line, correct?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I mean, because I saw on the Phantom of the Opera Casey, for example, and I don't know, maybe this is just my mind playing tricks on me, but the glove appeared to be Mondo Gecko-y in a sense.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe that was just me seeing what I wanted to see.
Yeah. Who can say? Yeah.
But I mean, I guess a follow-up question to that would be, could we in theory see, throughout the different iterations of TMNT, there are horror-like characters, right? So in theory, could we ever see in this line something that's more horror-based that exists elsewhere within the different worlds, or does it have to be like a mashup of sorts? Like, for instance, a good example might be Worm, or might be Inardo, or Bloodsucker. Right, there's some characters here that are like,
there's already some spooky, weird, creepy characters, so yeah, like half the work is kind of done for you, I guess. Those could be cool things to mess around with, and even if it only sort of kind of works, you kind of find a way to like fit it in. It's just fun to be like world building with this stuff.
I mean, I'm just trying to get parameter here in terms of like, if it's like, no, this will be, for instance, like some of those were Archie based characters, right? Like Monster X, right? That's to me feels like, oh wow, that's a mashup of a whole lot of those monsters right there, but it just within the Archie. So would that be relegated to still be in the world of Archie, or could a universal monster-y kind of look Monster X be here's?
I mean, it could. Now that we're actually doing like Archie figures, I'd probably think like he might just be a better fit right now. Like if there's no other way to make like Monster X, I'd be like, oh, maybe we could put him in this universal mashup horror line. But a character like that specifically, I'd say like he would probably end up being an Archie character before he became a movie like Henson suit kind of a horror movie.
Another thing I wanted to touch on too is the different diorama sets, right? Because we showed off, San Diego and New York Comic Con, these awesome new sets, and there's a bunch of them. So the question I have is, will we be seeing some of those up for pre-order at some point soon? And then will they all come at once, or are they going to be kind to our wallets and get us space out a little bit?
No, you gotta buy them all at once. They're gonna be spaced out probably. The factory's working on all this stuff right now. We should have like kind of the first like painted like deco samples. The TV room, like the little family room sewer layer, that's going to be the first one out. We should have samples of that in the next, like, probably before the end of the year, I think. And so it'll probably be early next year when we have like pricing and they go up for solicitation or whatever. Yeah, it should be pretty soon.
Sweet. Are there kind of like a top couple environments that you are still kind of chomping at the bit to get to in terms of
of course.
Expanded question on that, I guess, would be something like the Technodrome as an example, right?
Yep.
If we got a full-on Technodrome, I'm not going to poo-poo that, because that sounds amazing and I will pay whatever it needs to be. But the question is, might we see something similar to what we're seeing with these other dios, where we might just see, specific scenes in diorama form, before we see a full-on Technodrome?
I mean, there's definitely more rooms that are like environments I'd love to do. Just in the sewer, there's like a bunch more rooms. You could like, it's sort of like an always expanding thing, you know. There's a kind of the bedroom area. Like they all have the little pipes that go off to the side, and their little sleeping area, and there's the training dojo, there's like Splinter's room, like just like a generic sort of sewer tunnel, like kind of a pipe area would be cool to have, you know, where you can set up a bunch of characters. Like all that stuff would be pretty awesome. Channel 6 and the Technodrome, like, you know, those are all exciting places where there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, we already have the street scene, but even just adding on to that it would be cool to either make some new parts or like kind of reskin that to have another building or something. Like there's lots and lots of environments that could be done. For sure, the Technodrome, that's a whole other thing where there's just, you know, there's a couple like classic kind of locations in there that you could do. And then there's like the outside of it is also just like such a cool, iconic thing, you know, you set up these big battles and stuff with all your foot soldiers and rock soldiers and everybody.
Oh, yeah.
There's still a handful of like places I'd love to visit there.
Could we see dioramas from other iterations too? Thinking of some of these like Mirage or Archie, for instance, there's some pretty iconic shots that might be fun to replicate.
Yeah, oh definitely. That's another thing that's, you know, I think we talked about this last time too, where there's just like finding that balance of like there's tons to do. It's just like spacing it out where it doesn't overwhelm the factory, it doesn't punish your wallet too much, you know. It's like trying to find that nice balance where it's not too heavy on like the cartoon line, it's not, you know, just space everything out so there's like a little bit of everything that hits in the year. So yeah, a movie set or an Archie set or like a Mirage dio, like those things would all be very cool to do. So it's all been discussed, you know. It's trying to figure out how to make it all work.
I think at the beginning of the different lines here, there were some figures that were more difficult for fans to get. So April and Casey on the Fred Wolf side, and then the original sculpts of the TMNT themselves. Are those potentially something we might see again at some point? I know we're getting the Lost Turtles, but could we ever get the original sculpts in some fashion too?
I think Randy's confirmed that a few times in other interviews too, where some of the original stuff, it never really goes away. Like we do reorder that stuff from time to time and kind of restock. So yeah, it's not like we produce those things once and then just, you know, never made them again. So yeah, like there is going to be a new April. We are making a new April, a cartoon April. She's coming out next year. But yeah, for Casey and Bebop and Rocksteady and like just the regular Turtles, there's definitely more of that stuff that's being reordered and coming back out. So
the 2.0 April will this be a variant of April, or will this be similar but slightly different look?
Yeah, no, it's like a similar, it's like an upgrade from the last one. So it's still her in her like yellow jumpsuit. It's got some new parts. It's gonna be like one of the ultimate like VHS box figures. So she's got like a couple different interchangeable heads. She's got a bunch of different hands, some old accessories that, you know, the previous April had, and then like a bunch of new stuff. Like she's got that little handheld camera. She's got the little recorder with the microphone and stuff plugged into it.
Oh, fun.
Maltese hamster, I think that's in there too. But then there's like a bunch of new stuff included too. More details on that to come. You know.
Okay. All right. I'm very excited to, my mind is kind of racing here as to the possibilities there. That's what's fun, is there's so many different variations of these characters that we did talk about this last time, but it's like with April alone, there's, you know, and I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but like I'm thinking Wasp April, I'm thinking the Creature of the Black Lagoon April, fish.
Oh yeah, from the Ray Fillet episode. Yeah, she said she had many different looks. Yeah, there's still a few different Aprils that we could make, not just the regular jumpsuit one. So
well, right, and I mean and we saw Jersey Red too. So there's Punk Disguise April as well.
Yeah.
By the way, Jersey Red, I'm like so over the moon about that character. Well, because like the thing is once we got Scrag, my mind was like, okay, we're gonna get Dumbo, we're gonna get Dopey, we're gonna get, you know, it's very possible we weren't, but I'm like, this would be way outside the realm of my logic if that wasn't the case, because of course, right, we're gonna get Grunt too. So but Jersey Red is part of the expansion of the gang. So it's like,
right.
Once I saw Jersey on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many different possibilities here. And that's so cool.
Yeah, that was one of those characters. I was like, oh man, if we get to do Jersey Red, like how great is this? So we had started, I think we started working on all those gang members. It was a while ago. But yeah, they'll be out pretty soon, I think, like probably next spring or something. They're all at the factory right now. So they should be right around the corner.
I mean, the obvious question is, will they also come with the transformable pieces?
Or they have all their mutant parts. So Jersey Red doesn't have any mutant parts, but she has that little aerosol can where I think Donnie makes that for, like, they spray Mikey so he turns into a human or whatever. She's got a couple accessories. She has like a ray gun from, I think it's in her second appearance. And then she's got that little aerosol can. But yeah, the other 3 gang members all have their like interchangeable mutant parts.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it's those little things that are like so outside the realm of logic. Like you were saying, the aerosol can. It's like that and like the nose gun thing that is coming with
that sniffer thing. Yeah, that vacuum, whatever that is.
Right.
Ninja vacuum sniffer. Yeah.
It's like those things just make it. It's like those extra layers of so much fun because it's just so absurd.
Yeah, the show was crazy in so many ways. So yeah, when we were working on, like, I was gonna call her Cry, not Cry. When we were working on Lotus, and that episode, I mean, it's basically Cry, right? So yeah, when they bust into the turtle lair with that, it's just like a giant rubber nose on one of those old timey vacuums. It's just like, well, we have to do. It's like when we were working on like Metalhead, and he's got a vacuum for an arm.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, we got to include that. There's certain things you just can't leave out.
Well,
right. Yeah, so it's always fun when we get to like kind of go the extra mile with those things. And it really, honestly, the mutated parts are like that too for all the gang members. They're not really complete if like you can't change them out into like those other forms.
And with the gang here too, I mean, what's nice also is that like there's so many different regular human buck types here now that come with this.
Yeah.
So we had that with the 4-pack, the premutation 4-pack too. But my mind goes again back to all these other human characters, really notable human characters from the series.
Oh yeah.
Does that allow for some of these to potentially be more on the horizon than less on the horizon at this point? Some of the mob characters as an example.
I'm not going to say no because we have those parts. It'd be crazy to make them once. And, if we can figure out a way to make it work, we'd probably do that.
That's fun. I'm excited about that. I mean, and I think we kind of get a little bit of a tease for what's going through the minds over there when we see some of the paper pictures of, the
wanted posters and...
This this is how I'm perceiving it, at least, is like with some of those, for the longest time it was like, we don't know if we're going to be able to get them out, so we just want to we want to get them out in some form. And now I'm looking at like the number of who has been made versus who hasn't been made of those, and I'm like, okay, we're
running out of little Easter egg things. Who else did I put on there? I think there's an AJ Howard.
Yeah.
And
Mad Dog was on there. Mad
Dog McMutt might have been like one of the first posters I drew. Yes, Greg. Yeah. Oh no, I've made a couple. I put Mr. Big on one of them.
Yeah.
I won't tell you which ones are red herrings. A few of them were on the box for the Disguised Turtles, and then like we made a whole sticker sheet. And sometimes we just make them for like Comic-Con. I'll just stick them on the wall.
Have there been any that gone on display at Comic-Con that haven't made it into any of the sets yet?
Yeah, I don't think. Did we make an AJ Howard, like a proper AJ Howard, like wanted poster sticker?
I know that one was on display at San Diego.
Yeah. I don't know if it actually made it into a figure box or anything yet.
Since we're talking San Diego a little bit, I have a lot of questions for that and New York Comic Con too. Mac, first of all, holy moly, that's like dream come true. Awesome. Here, and we saw the baby turtles, the turtle tots.
Oh yeah, the little toddler turtles.
Yeah, I know that you were saying there might be another accessory pack. Is this part of that accessory pack, or is this its own?
No, they're going in the accessory pack. They're kind of like the core sort of. There's like all 4 of the toddler turtles, and Big Mac, and then a bunch of accessories kind of around them that are like, that is the accessory pack. So I don't know if we've actually shown that off or solicited that thing. I guess we haven't if you're asking about it.
As an actual thing to get yet. I haven't seen
yeah, it's a cool set. The other one that I know a lot of people are asking about was that extra Baxter head where he's wearing like the Shredder helmet. That head is like included with this accessory set because it was one of those accessories that like I wanted to have with the San Diego set, you know, like just swappable heads or whatever, but it just too expensive. It didn't make the cut, so it's going in the accessory set. There's weird little things in there that I really like. The Star of Hoboken, it's like that big diamond that's going in the accessory set. We might not make Big Louie or some of these like gangsters and stuff, but the Star of Hoboken is just such a cool, funny thing. It's like doing the Maltese hamster, and like I just love some of those episodes that have these really silly kind of MacGuffin. Rocksteady's helmet, that little green army helmet, that we had that at San Diego Comic-Con. That's going in the accessory set. Oh, there's this cheese painting, like a fancy, it's in, oh gosh, what's that episode? The Great Boldini, I think. Zach is in it, and what's his friend's name, like Kayla or Caitlin or something. But yeah, there's this really fancy painting of a piece of cheese, and then for whatever reason the Rat King just pops up from like the basement of the museum, and I think he like takes the painting home with him. He's like, oh, that's a really great painting. So like Dan, who paints all the covers, you know, he paints all our VHS boxes. I was like, Dan, you got to paint this piece of cheese for me. And he's just like, it's in the episode for like a second and a half. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it's cool. And then it's like, if you have a Rat King figure, it's just an awesome accessory to go with him. And if you bought the Mousers from earlier this year, now you've got like 5 or 10 more rats or whatever come with that. So it's like you can just sort of army build and like just level up your figures, you know. So yeah, the TV, the video game console, and the VCR, they're in the accessory set and they're cool. There's a bunch of cards you can like swap out, like so they're like flipping channels or something, and and it's all stuff like from the show, like when they're watching like wrestling and they're watching like Gorgonzola movies and they're watching April's like news reports, like even like Vernon has his own TV show. So there's at least 5 or 6 different cards that you can like drop into the TV, which is cool. The little VHS tapes, those fit into the VCR.
What? That's cool.
So it's a really cool set. The VCR you can take. Oh, I should just hold on. Give me one second.
Give me a little pencil to unspool.
I need visual aids.
I remember there's one episode where they had a whole bunch of different parody shows within the show too. They like parodied the Smurfs, they parodied Chipmunks, they parodied G.I. Joe. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of like contemporary in-jokes that were going on at the time there that made for good fodder.
All right, so here's a TV, and there's a little Gorgonzola.
Oh yeah,
on there that Dan painted.
That's great.
So the cool thing, and then like right now there's a little VHS tape that like fits into the VCR, which is cool. Sometimes the VCR is not on top of the TV. So VCR, you can take that off and then take the antenna and just like plug it into this little hole.
Oh, fun.
And then so you can just have like the TV with the antenna, you know, and then if you want, you can take that off. So yeah, it's a cool set, you know, literally TV set.
Yeah,
it's super neat, and it's got the video game console that they can play. I think after we were done sculpting, Brody sculpted this like a long time ago. And after he was done sculpting, it was already at the factory. I found an episode where like Donatello like takes the back of the TV off and he's like rewiring it, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, you know, I was it's already done. We've already I can't. We'll have to do a second version of the TV sometime where there's like the whole back half opens up and get Donatello in there.
I was kind of like scrutinizing all the stuff that we were seeing in these dioramas, and I'm like, the one thing that I noticed was absent. I'm like, there's no way that they're not going to do this at some point, but it was the coffee maker.
Oh yeah, in the lab. Yeah, that thing is super cool, and obviously like, you know, it's in the intro, right? So it's just like it's in every episode, or you know, most of the episodes. Yeah, at some point we probably have to make that its own thing, kind of like the portal Donnie's portal.
Yeah, I was gonna say the portal was shown, so that we know that's coming, right? That's
yeah, the portal's coming out. That's being sold just by itself. It's got like lenticular cards. So
neat.
this like the screens pop out and you can visit different dimensions and what have you.
Is there any word on some of those characters from the dimensions that they potentially jump to?
You know, they see a lot of different things. Like the one of my favorites is like they see a dimension where it's just inhabited by like living, breathing vending machines. It's so ridiculous. So like one of the cards is that vending machine thing. You know, the one thing I kind of discovered accidentally. So here's like a Dimension X card.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super. It's real nice, and there's like the little moving lever and stuff over here. But yeah, this is just going to be sold by itself, and it's got these 3 cards. That'll be out next year.
Heck yeah. But
There's
like on more of those.
There's the vending machine.
Nice.
And then it's got like the pigs from the Usagi episode. There's the little rubber band guys.
Nice. Yeah, I remember those.
Maybe do we cut it out, or is it in the? Oh, it's in this one. I don't know if you can see. One of these is someone else's home world. I don't know if you can. There's Dimension X, and then there's another place in here.
I'm trying to. Is that? It's not. That's not Polarisoids, is it?
No, it's not that. No.
Or is that Oggs?
Well, it could be Mr. Oggs.
Okay, all right. It looks similar. I mean, there's they went all over the place, so there's a lot of possibilities that could be
10 dimensions. They went to at least 9 of them, probably.
Yeah, well, and a future as well. When you are doing the planning around some of these characters, like we have Colossus of the Swamps Napoleon now, which is I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, I anticipated this was coming because I'm like, like I know how much of a Frogs fan you are. So I'm like, okay, this is got to be coming soon. But like when you are conceptualizing how the rollout of some of these, does your mind also go to like, oh, what can we have that also kind of like complements these things that could come out around the same time, like a tourist Bebop and Rocksteady as an example? Is that?
Yeah, that's always good when that works out. Yeah, whenever I'm watching episodes, I'll just be like, oh, well, this guy would be cool. And oh, look, there's 2 other characters that directly relate to this one. Or yeah, so it's always good when all that stuff kind of like comes together. There's always like 1 or maybe 2 like kind of big characters we try to do in a year. So I have them right here.
Oh, nice.
He's got a little articulated mouth and stuff. So yeah, when we
does it have a hinged jaw too?
It has a hinged jaw, yeah. So you can get like real sort of gritting teeth, and then you can kind of open it up. So he's got like more of a little open. You can see his tongue in there, maybe. He has a second head too that has like kind of the sad face when his sort of his anger. He's sort of like, you know, he's a little more calm, and Shredder like zaps him with the Muta shooter again. Yeah, he has 2 different heads. But yeah, this was one I had mentioned to Randy definitely a year ago, maybe more. It was, I think we were already finished with Rex 1. Chrome Dome was out. We were done sculpting Rex. And I was like, and the Killer Pizza Monster was done. And I said, the next big guy we should do is this one. And Randy's like, yeah, that sounds cool. So, you know, he's just like a big Incredible Hulk version of Napoleon. So yeah, and it's more punk frogs, which I love the punk frogs. So he's cool. He's real cool. So yeah, I was excited that we were finally able to show him off at New York this year.
I saw that and just like started dancing. That character for me was a big want also. So I'm like, we talked about this before about some of these characters who are you're not as favorited as others to you. Has that changed over time? And
favorites for me?
Or characters that used to be least favorites for you?
I know.
You know, has time changed your opinion on that a little bit?
No, sadly, I don't know. Some of those characters are still kind of annoying.
Annoying is different than toyetic, right? So
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I won't deny that like some of them they would make good figures. I can't deny that. So we try to just get them done quickly, get them over to the factory, produce them, then I don't have to think about them anymore.
until I make you on them again.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, there's who's really annoying is I can't remember his name. Who's Irma's like boyfriend? He's like that musician guy that was in like
yeah.
He was in a bunch of episodes, like all in a row or something. It was like Artie or something, maybe. He's like just a nerdy guy, kind of like a Woody Allen kind of nerdy guy. He's like the one episode they find like that cosmic key, like from the He-Man movie, and he's like playing that, like it was just like this synthesizer music thing going on the whole episode, and they're singing, and I was like, oh boy, this is So yeah, I don't know. We might not make him. And then like Vernon has like a really annoying little nephew with like a giant head, and we probably aren't going to make him either.
What about Tiffany? Is Tiffany Burns?
Oh, she was sculpted a long time ago. We used there's an accessory in the Channel 6 set where there's a picture of Tiffany in the frame. Tony actually like sculpted her. And then I was like, we're probably not going to ever make Tiffany, but we should do something with this sculpt. So we made a little headshot of her and like put it in a frame. And then, so we did the same thing with like the hunky reporter guy. That was actually like a digital sculpt that we just took a little screenshot of. And then continuing that trend, who else do we have that? Oh, that's another thing that's coming in the new April is her aunt, which is like the Murder, She Wrote kind of. I think it's Aunt Agatha, maybe.
And Agatha
Marples or something. Isn't that her name?
Yeah.
So we're probably never going to actually make a figure of her, but she is sort of like sculpted from the front, so we can have a little picture of her like with April.
Well, and there was a tease on the on that permutation set too, wasn't there? There was like
there was, when she was like, that's like a photo of her when she was doing like archaeology stuff, like she was digging up some ancient artifacts or something. I don't know. She was at Oak Island or something digging up Bobby Dazzlers.
First of all, I'm of the advocacy where I'm like, of course, like you say we're never getting these, but I really hope we do.
That's the best way to actually make them, is just say we're never going to do it, and then they just appear someday, like they just magically get done. I found like that's how we've made so many of these at this point, is just say we're never gonna do that. And then when a long time ago, I was like, it'd be cool to make Lotus. I doubt we'll ever make Lotus, and then it happens eventually. A lot of the figures are like that.
Was the green meanie? Was this?
No, he probably won't happen. But
we got Han and Fitz from the Wrestling Turtles on that end. But
okay, I have a question about that, because those guys would be super cool. Their names, is it because in the episode it almost sounds like the joke is their names are Hans and Feet, because it's like hands and feet.
Oh, that's funny. I never.
Or is it like Hans and obviously it's like Hans and Franz, because that was big at the time, but it's like, is his name Fitz or Fritz? There's 100%, there's like a joke in that episode, like a throwaway one-liner where it sounds like their names were Hans and Feets.
I'm Hans. I'm Feets. We are a mean, green, fighting machine.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, they like their word plays. So, I mean, that's,
Yeah, so that's one that's puzzled me lately for no specific reason.
But I mean, the thing is like, when you think of what the Turtles was parody of Daredevil. And so, it could have been a nod to the idea of the hand and the foot, right? So it's it's like, it could be. Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many little, like when there's that episode, I think it's the Shibano-sama episode where Splinter does the Curly maneuver, and it's just like he just starts doing like Three Stooges, like poking eyes and it's like there's so many jokes in that show from start to finish where it's just like, the whole thing is just, it's kind of a little parody of whatever, this and that, And that's what's so much of the fun, is that it didn't take itself too seriously, is that there's so much, there's so much breaking the third wall, fourth, one of the walls,
the fourth dimension.
Right. There's so much of the of like looking at the camera, talking directly to the viewer. And
when it's time to do like exposition, they're just like, I'm explaining this to the children, like.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it is that they just didn't have part of it is like, it's fun writing. They were having fun. But part of it, I think, is also
children's TV.
Yeah, it's children's TV. They can get away with it, and also they have so many episodes that they had to write.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was for sure. It was a factory, right, where they had to crank those things out. So I think that's how a lot of you get through the day just kind of goofing around, and even if it's only funny to like you and your buddies, it's just sort of like throw it in there for something, to not go.
It matters because it keeps you. Right, because it keeps you writing the episodes.
Yeah.
And then you get the sniffer vacuum. That's how that came about.
Yeah.
Now that we have the baby turtles and the turtle jar that they were carried in, could we ever have? And this is never seen this before ever, but it's like the kid who was the original owner of the turtles. Now that we have, it's like
like Chet or Chester or whatever.
Chester.
Yeah. Sure. Hey, talking about reusing body parts, like we've already got that Zach figure, so yeah, why not?
Come with Tiffany.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Like that's another one. I wouldn't say it's impossible. So yeah, sure.
Thank you for appeasing me. You're just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Honestly, I just anytime we just think this isn't going to happen, then something makes it so. He played a pretty important role in like the creation of the Ninja Turtles, dropping that jar of
right. So you could argue he's just as important as the Ooze, right? I mean, if not for this kid being there at that time, we'd have no turtles.
Yeah, sure.
That's what's fun with these properties that are over 30 years old now, is that what's stuck in the noggin for someone might be different for others, and you don't realize it. Things are reapproached, where it's like you see that excitement regenerate because people may have just forgotten some of these characters existed too. Going into Tempestra for a second, because we were going there for a minute until I think you didn't want to talk about her.
I like swerved. Yeah.
The question I have is, in my mind, I think I don't know when we'll get her, but I assume we'll probably get her at some point. So when we do get to her, do we see her as being a oversized, where she would come with like the arcade console that she came with in the show, and potentially some of those characters that she generated, or would this be like a 2-pack kind of scenario?
If we were to make Tempestra, this is how most of the figures start out, is unless it's like a giant thing like Rex 1 or Chrome Dome or like the Colossus Napoleon. Unless it's one of those guys, it's like there's no way they would ever be in a 2-pack, Just about every other character, you go, okay, who are we gonna make? And you go, all right, we're gonna make Tempestra. And I go, oh, okay, well, she's gonna go in a 2-pack with who? And then you go, oh, then you gotta think of probably someone to go with her. And it's like, oh, yeah, that arcade is really cool. It's really big. That's a big accessory. So is it too big to make? Mondo Gecko and his skateboard, that's a big accessory, but it's like you can't make Mondo without a skateboard. So then with Tempestra, is it the same deal? Like, can you make Tempestra? Does she have to have the arcade? Maybe not. Yes, no. So it's all these things we got to kind of work out, and figure out. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't going to work as a 2-pack. Maybe we have to put her in her own thing. And then it's like, well, okay, now is she like popular enough to have her own like regular figure, Not that those are necessarily reserved for like the most popular characters, but it's got to be like a cool, oh my God, I got to have this Tempestra thing. So I don't know, there's lots of questions and lots of discussions that we have at work about this stuff and trying to figure it out. So yeah, if we were to make a Tempestra, certainly the arcade would be a cool thing, but it is a big thing. It's a really big accessory. So then, I mean, just her on her own, she's got like a lot of big parts. There's a dress and a cloak and a robe, but she's got all this. She got lightning powers, and if we were going to make her, she's probably going to be an expensive figure to make. So I
guess too, did you see with like Shredder's Revenge as an example that just came out?
Yeah.
Some of these things have put a spotlight on some of these characters who may have forgotten about before too.
A couple of years ago, there weren't probably a whole lot of people talking about Tempestra, and now she's sort of the talk of the town. Yeah, she's a really good example of Bug-Man was like that too. For a little bit, like I don't remember Bug-Man at all from like when I was a kid. I don't remember him on the show at all. And then like when we got kind of deep into the toy line, we were making a lot there. Oh, I hope you guys are making a Bug-Man. I was like, I gotta watch these Bug-Man episodes. Everyone keeps talking about Bug-Man. I was like, who the heck is that guy? So, and like Tempestra was sort of like that. Like I kind of remember her. I remember Leo like fighting a video game, you know, as a kid. But yeah, it's some of these characters that are in just a couple of episodes. They were everything to some people and then completely forgotten by others. So I always loved that Shibano Sama ghost. I always thought he was super cool, and like, you know, he's on a clip show. Maybe a lot of people didn't watch it or something. His clip shows were always kind of lame.
That was it was a really fun episode though, and it ties into the mythos there too. It's like
yep, that's why I like him. He's super cool. So it's always tricky, you know, who gets a figure and who doesn't sometimes. But yeah, Tempestra seems to be, she's in that video game now. She's in that new comic, I think, that
the Saturday morning
yeah.
She was, and it's like, you know, she's also like the last member of the Night of the Rogues member who's not there.
Well, we better make her then, so you can complete the Rogues gallery. She's the only one left. So.
Yeah, with Bug-Man, that one always was fun for me because I always thought that was going to be a toy when we were kids, right? Like it was like, oh, it's got all the right things for this to be a toy, and it just never was, and which was baffling. But
yeah, it's weird. He's like a good guy Baxter Stockman, like a good counterpart to. You know,
and he had a great rogues gallery too, right? He's got like, you know,
the swatter,
just it's like what it's a parody Shredder. It's just so much fun, you know. Dr. Dome in the one like small segment that he appeared here, but was like a big key character, like the Mirage series, right? It's fun. I mean, those are fun. But with Bug-Man, is that one? I assume that one's probably going to be an oversized, or is that because of the extra pieces that go with it, or is that one still paired with somebody?
He's in a 2-pack.
Okay, all right.
He's gonna be in a 2-pack. We've not said who that other character is yet, but Bug-Man is in a 2-pack.
All right. Oh, this is very exciting. My mind's running circles here. I'm like, okay, if you can't answer this, don't answer this. But is it one of his rogue gallery, or is it someone else completely?
It's one of those two things. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, that should be fun. And will we have the ability to swap his feet too, or will it be stuck at the bug like?
He's pretty much in bug form. Yeah, he doesn't have like a human head or like any human parts to be interchangeable. So yeah, he's kind of just Bug-Man.
Okay, is that on the table at some point for being like in another accessory pack potentially, or is that just like you know, he's a mutant, we'll keep him in mutant form?
That one would be cool to do, like at some point, just to do the human head. Like his one episode, he's like found peace and tranquility, like he's wearing a toga or something, right? So it's like that would be a whole new sculpt to do. So we're probably not gonna ever make like peace and tranquility Bug-Man. And what's his name?
Rick Bradley?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're not gonna make Rick Bradley probably, but maybe we could make an extra, just a regular human head or something for him at some point.
At Comic-Con this year, we saw something really freaking cool in that we are starting to see characters that are kind of what if, right? We saw in San Diego Comic-Con, we saw The Last Ronin, and then at New York Comic-Con, we got it again with, you know, Space Usagi. So this is
there's some sort of what if alternate universe sort of Fred Wolf style characters kind of working their way into the pipeline. So
I was very excited for that. I mean, I gotta say, with the Space Usagi in particular, I mean, first of all, Last Running one looked magnificent, but the Space Usagi is fun for me on another level there because it feels inspired from the never aired, the animated series.
Oh, like the unaired, the pilot thing.
Yeah, and the thing is like the idea of possible expansion there too really excites me, because there's some really neat characters that stem from there, like you were showing before with the portal, for instance, how we were seeing some of the characters Usagi. So to me, you know, it's like that might mean that we could see some of that world in the series as well. Is that true? You know, I know Stan is directly overseeing a lot of this and approving a lot of the characters. So does that make things more likely to see expanded in that world through here, or is there limited possibilities for what you can use and what you can't?
If Stan wants to do it, then that's super cool, and we'll work on that stuff. But then it's also like, we're not trying to just make a Fred Wolf cartoon Space Usagi line. It's like he's having a Space Usagi character is cool, but there might be a couple other characters that like never appeared on the cartoon that we might, just like regular turtle characters that we might want to get. And it's all just like finding that balance of like not going too heavy in one direction and doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But for sure, if like Stan Sakai is like awesome and so much fun to work with, if Stan is interested in like doing more stuff, then it's like we'll have that conversation with him and try to make it work for him and for us.
In your mind, what takes top billing in terms of what you are hoping to see in the what if kind of style? Is it characters that seem like they should have been in the cartoon that we never saw in the cartoon, or is there like a certain method to this? Help me to understand it a little more.
Especially with this stuff, it is kind of stuff that maybe I always wanted to see. A cartoon Last Ronin just seemed like kind of a no-brainer, so he was sort of top of the list. Then it goes into like, like a Space Usagi would be super cool, and like what if there's like movies and video games and all the other media, like comic books, all the other turtle stuff that like you can sort of pluck one or two things here and there and put them all through that cartoon filter.
So could this be pretty expansive? Are you starting smaller with this at first?
Yeah, it's just going to be a couple figures here and there. And if it's cool, we'll just keep making them. These guys sort of represent like a lost episode or something. So that's kind of the idea behind it. But yeah, a lot of it is just, they're things that I just want a toy of.
Yeah. That's the thing too. You were saying video game here, and I know that you were saying before that the video game focus has kind of shifted a bit to kind of focus on some of these other awesome iterations too. But there's like some notable characters from the video game arena that we still don't have. So could we theoretically see it in this fashion versus, well, two thoughts here, I guess. One is that I want to get back to the tournament fighters and Armagon, the packaging on that in a second. But like characters like Tora or Sisyphus or Asuka or or Shogun, for example, right? These are all characters we never had in plastic and also would be fun.
Those all those characters you named, like they all have my attention for those reasons. Like they're cool characters. We never had them as toys before, so that always kind of immediately shoots them up to the top of the list, and then we just kind of go from there, just kind of pick and choose like who we're gonna make or what or why. But yeah, all those are all things that we've considered or talked about, or I do have some interest in making them, not just as like a Fred Wolf cartoon style, but just doing regular like video game versions of those characters as part of the video game line.
Will we still see more of those video game characters anytime soon, or is that still
probably not anytime soon? The video game stuff is not completely dead. It's just it has taken kind of a backseat to to focus on like Mirage and Archie and Ronin and some of the other. There's just so many turtles, so many versions. It's just not enough hours in the day to like get it all done.
Well, and that's what I was going to say with the tournament fighters, because the Armagon that had the tournament fighter packaging on it. So I was like, does this mean that when we do get back to the video game stuff, that it'll kind of be full throttle into some of those characters?
It could. I won't say no. Can't say yes. That would be nice if we could get back to it. Yeah.
One follow up to that is
okay.
I realized there's a lot of those characters we've never had as toys before, but could it also include clones? Could it also include background characters that look very different than we've ever seen them as well?
Yeah, I mean, those at one point, all those things were on a list of potential figures that we could make. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff and then each version of Tournament Fighters had kind of its own unique rosters that kind of might not double the numbers, but it just there's a lot to do from those games.
What's the over under on Chrome Dome's girlfriend?
Oh yeah, she's real cool. Yeah, why not?
And it's happening.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
From Mirage side of things, is that growing with the amount of options that could come out from like this year to next year?
It seems like that probably is. Yeah. There's probably going to be more Mirage stuff next year. Probably more than we had this year.
What about when we have characters that are like naturally paired with each other? Would those come as a pair? Or would they always be single? So like Carnage and Radical as an example. To me, those are kind of like they're a package deal, right?
It's kind of case by case basis, I think. I mean, right? So I have one right here I can show you. Like we have the kind of the forearm guy, right?
Oh, awesome.
And he comes with the little mini shredder, but he's just sort of a little mini guy. So they're in a pack together.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. Like most of the Mirage figures right now are all single releases, and then like there's a few of them that are deluxe. Like Zog is deluxe, and the Shredder clones are deluxe. Everything else at the moment is just like a single figure, but that doesn't mean it's gonna stay that way forever.
Would we see the other Shredder clone that came as one of the exclusives, right? Could that could that be seen back on expanded market, like as a repaint or something, so that
possibly, maybe not. Most of the stuff that we did for like exclusives, you know, most of them are probably going to stay that way, but maybe there's a chance to get some other, you know, slight variation.
My mind goes to like Scrag, right? Where you're going to have the rest of the gang. That might leave a hole then for some collectors who didn't get the entirety of that.
Yeah, it would be good to find a way to get them back out there, but yeah, at the moment for stuff like Scrag or that first like Claw Mutant Shredder guy, there's no plans to re-release them like anytime soon.
On the Archie side of things, I guess I have a handful of questions, but the one I would ask is when you have Hemitroni back on there doing this amazing art, you know, it's like we're seeing this again. It's like jumping right off the comics here. Does that sway the kind of figures you are wanting to get to first, like based on just like I want to see Ken do this this art?
Yeah, there's a little bit. I mean, with Archie too, there's a few things we wanted to do. Yeah, we wanted to make all the Mutanimals. You know, maybe there's some talk of wrestling turtles. You know, those are some, you know, because if we were just gonna make like regular Archie turtles, like Ken's style is great, but probably like there's a lot of similarities like to the regular like cartoon turtles. So like making wrestling turtles seems to kind of make a little bit of sense. So there's a good chance we might see some of those.
Would that be as a set, or would those come out individually, do you think?
It could be either one. And that too, like talking about like some of those Mirage figures, like they could be two packs, they could be individual, they could be sold as a set. I'm not sure how that would happen.
So you're saying with Mirage, those could still theoretically come as 2-packs as well. It just we haven't seen it in that form yet.
Maybe it's like however they kind of want to sell it, or where they're going to sell it, or how they're going to sell it. Yeah, it could be those things. But yeah, like the Archie figures, Ken's drawings are just so cool. So like I do want to see him draw. Like there are a couple characters that just look awesome in Ken's style. You know, we push those up to the front of the line, and we get Ken to do those first, and then kind of goes out from there.
Does it help when characters that originated there have been reintroduced to the fan base, like through the IDW stuff? So like Cherubay, for instance, and like some of the space characters, right? And Noah Posse, right? Those were in Archie, but now we're seeing them again in IDW. So it's like kind of fresh in people's mind again. That
can help. And especially like at just at work where, hey, I want to make like so-and-so. And they're like, who? Like, what is this? They go, he was in like one issue or something? I go, no, he's in the Archie comics, he's in the IDW comics now, he's in here, you know. That definitely always helps, because to everyone else it's like everything is super obscure, no one's heard of any of it, so it always helps when you can say they're. Even when we made those like bunny suit Bebop and Rocksteady guys, Randy was like, bunny suits, and I was like, we got to make them in bunny suits, trust me. And I was like, why? And I was like, even there was like a game, I think there was like they were downloadable like skins on like one of the, like an iPhone game. There was like an app or something. Yeah, you just send them to like bash each other. So like those bunny suits were like in that game. And I remembered saying like, dude, like it's more than just this one ridiculous thing. It's like many ridiculous things. And he's like, oh, okay. It always helps like the more they sort of appear.
Well, and what's been memed, right? I mean, you got, you know, you got like I'm shocked by how many people know the potato suit Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh yeah,
you know?
That's another one too. Yeah, we made those human Bebop and Rocksteadies, and they're like, "Where are the potato suits?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." If a few more people ask about the potato suits, then it's like, yeah, we should do that. Yeah, that definitely happens. You like open up, oh, what's on Instagram today, and you see all the memes. And you're like, oh, okay, we should do this or that. Or like, even the mummy Michelangelo, like the rotting like turtle puppet head. It was like you'd see it all over the internet. So I was just like, holy crap. I was like, dude, this is so perfect for like an accessory to this toy.
First of all, chef's kiss on that. That was a really good, smart move. But also going back to the Universal Monsters for a second, could we see other turtles as those other versions that we've already seen with Mummy Mike? Could we see Mummy Don? Could we see Mummy Leo still?
Make a like army build, like a whole mummy.
Well, what in theory,
sure.
then it doubles as like, if you wanted to have them all on those heads, you'd have like zombie turtles on your shelf too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's another thing that like, if it makes sense, then we might do it. I don't know if I have a good answer for like if they ask me why I want to make all of them as mummies. I don't know if I have an answer for that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely for certain monsters that could work, because if they're like zombies or something, like you'd have a whole team of zombies, or they're like a vampire horde. That can be cool.
Right. You look at like I'll use Werewolf Mike because I think that's who he was in the 2012, right? It was Werewolf Mikey.
Yeah, he's like Teen Wolf.
In that sense, it's like then you have 4 werewolf turtles in that looking. So it's like, the extra layer of, yes, it'll be an awesome, whoever you choose to be, that is going to be an awesome figure, no question. But like, it's almost like you're building your own terror bears. Or dream beavers.
Yeah, and that could all play into Mirage in 2012. And if I had to explain why we're making terror bears or dream beavers, I could say, well, they show up a few different times, like there's a precedent for this.
Terror Bears case, they also had the Dark Horse computer figures that came out a while back too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's so
I'll have to add that to the list. Okay. Good to know.
On Archie, so going back to Archie.
Oh yeah,
you mentioned that the 4 wrestling turtles. I'm thinking of a 4-armed character that would have to hold on to those turtles though too, right?
Well, if you're gonna make a bunch of wrestlers, you gotta have someone for them to wrestle. That goes into what I said earlier. It's hard to just make one character that doesn't immediately just kind of spiral off into 2 or 3 or 4, all these other related characters. You just start making teams and groups and factions, and like there's a couple different characters that enter that wrestling ring. They would all be awesome figures. So not that I'm saying we're making wrestling turtles, but we should make some other characters too. If we do that, then it takes away from some other issue where other cool stuff happens, and then we can't have like a nocturnal trio or whatever they're called, like
the uncanny trio.
They're
nocturnal.
Nocturnal's in there. So.
Nocturnal's one of them.
They're like, it's all, there's so much to do. Everything is cool. Just trying to find a way to get it all there. I do want to make a Willy Wombat, because he's kind of like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of guy.
Dude, Willy Wombat, and this is the thing. It's like there's the Rise characters too. That are like Albearto.
Albearto, yeah.
Albearto is straight up like this is Five Nights at Freddy, and it's also like Pizza Face, right? So it's like extra
cooler.
Yeah, but the Wombat, that very much was animatronic stuff that was in there, and that was a fun episode too. Well, that's it for part 4 of our interview series. But stay tuned because part 5 is coming up right around the corner. We realize you could have been anywhere and you chose to nerd out with us, and we appreciate that. And while you're here, make sure to check out some of our other really cool videos we think that you'll appreciate quite a bit. And if you haven't already, make sure to sub, like, and share with any other folks you think will appreciate the kind of videos we're putting out. So, until next week, Turtle Speaky,
keep it geeky.